for Pick Dogs, and it is Friday, August 26, 2022. Of course, we're live 7 days a week, 365 days a year, giving out free picks. We're going to go through the schedule, and of course, with our different format that we have on Saturday, we're also going to touch on Week 0 college football action, and just we're not going to go into in depth in every game, but we are going to go over a few of them here and just kind of poke around and get some thoughts in, because like I said, Saturdays and Sundays, we have our different format with all the different cappers. So we're going to use these Thursday and Friday shows going forward over the college football and NFL season to touch on some of those games as well. Chris, you ready for college football?
Oh yeah, I think this is the most ready I've been in a long time. Just been doing my digging, reading up on teams, and I'm even pumped for Week 0. I couldn't say that last year, but this year I'm excited for Week 0 and some of the games that are on the card. May not be the biggest games, but just excited to have college football back.
Yeah, it's so weird because like Week 0 last year, I believe I didn't do any picks on Week 0, and this year it's like I have a bunch of games that I actually like. So, it's good stuff. So, there's some good matchups out there, and I think there's some good money-making opportunities. It is my favorite day of the week during my favorite time of the year, college football Saturday. So I did my videos already. We haven't posted them, but it was fun to say that. I've been saying that for an awful long time, for 15 years online, talking about college football. So, just excited about, the season. I think, this season's going to be a little bit different than every season's a little different, but this season, with the image licensing, basically the paying of players and, the players also, being able to transfer because they can't get a starting job at one school or another. It gives them a chance to go to another school and either prove a point that they, that they can be a starter somewhere, or at the same time, go somewhere else and realize that they weren't quite starting material to begin with. We see a lot of these guys, and when we look at Week 0, we're not going to go over all of the games, but what's one of the games that you're looking at, Chris?
I'm really looking at that, and it's going to kick off the day early, but I'm looking at that Nebraska Northwestern game. Being in Dublin, Ireland, I don't know if I want to bet a coach with the last name Fitzgerald in Ireland. I'll tell you, it's a dicey proposition, but you're seeing that line go all over the place. Northwestern at one point 13.5-point dogs. Now it's down to 11.5. I'm initially looking at the under in that game. I think it's going to be a sloppy, kind of low-scoring game. Northwestern's offense was non-existent last season. Didn't really do anything to address it. I think the defense is still going to be there, but Nebraska, consistent underachievers under Scott Frost, and I know they made moves. They went out and got Casey Thompson from Texas to fill that quarterback void, but I still think it's just going to be a low-scoring game. It's going to be, like I said, a defensive slugfest, game one in the trenches, and I think I'm looking at the under early in that game.
Yeah, the thing for me in that one is that you have a coach that, has that Nebraska program, and while they've been down for a little bit, I mean, it is Nebraska after all, and, he's kind of has done less with more, especially returning home, to where he played college and, leaving that UCF job where he seemed to have that program headed towards national prominence, maybe to a place where Cincinnati has gone the last few years. And, on Northwestern, you have the opposite. You have a guy that's done more with less in, what's considered one of the toughest conferences out there. 2 years ago, they played in the Big Ten championship game. Northwestern. It wasn't Wisconsin. It wasn't Iowa. It wasn't Penn State. It was Ohio State against Northwestern in the Big Ten college football championship game in Indianapolis. So I just think that I kind of like the guys that do more with less. And I think that's what makes the great college coaches. One of the games, of course, Jim Mora Jr. paid for a lot of my Hawaii house, and a lot of the improvements that we were able to do. and the job that he did at UCLA, and Tony T will tell you, it's tough for him to not cry from joy, just speaking about the Jim Mora, Josh Rosen years at UCLA. And, the thing is that, here he is at UConn, which is a perfect fit for a guy that's used to getting slaughtered. And he's up against a Utah State team that is some tough-ass customers. They blew the living crap out of San Diego State in that Mountain West Championship game last year. I know a lot of people don't remember, the Mountain West Championship, but this is what we do. So I remember it. And it was a slaughter, Chris. I mean, it was an absolute slaughter. But the issue here is, Utah State goes to Tuscaloosa next week.
Yeah, it wasn't like, I think that title game was like 48-13 or something like that.
It was slaughter. If it was a fight, they would have stopped it.
Yeah, that was against one of the better defenses in the country in San Diego State. But Utah State, they still have some turnover, and I'm with you. I think that Jim Mora Jr. is just going to bring a little bit of oomph to this UConn program that's been lifeless in the last couple of years. By no means do I think they, reach a bowl game this season. Probably, maybe win one or even two games. But I think that Utah State could be looking ahead to Alabama a little bit. I think they'll want to use UConn as a tune-up, but 4 touchdowns with Utah State for me just feels like a lot. I could see this, being a 35-10 kind of game, sort of where UConn kind of sneaks in the back door and gets themselves a cover. If this line were to drop, closer to 24.5, maybe even some people say 27.5, and that way you can kind of get that extra hook on your side in case Utah State wins by 4 scores, maybe. But at 28.5, which is where I was seeing it, I think I'd like the points with UConn.
Yeah, when Jim Mora Jr. got the UConn job, we're friends on LinkedIn. We're connected on LinkedIn. I sent him the LinkedIn message. Congrats on the new gig. And he actually wrote back. He said, thanks. Jim is now offline. And it kind of, was, it's like we connected there on that level. But at the same time, I think he's really got up against them. And, we got a big number here. We have a total that's going higher too. And I just think in this one, I think it's more to me the under, because I just think that Utah State maybe goes up 35-0 or something and maybe pulls the dogs off. And then it's, UConn backdoor, or not type deal. I just see it as a one-sided game. I think Utah State, they had some transfers out, but they still got that quarterback, Bonner. So they're going to be very, very tough. When we look at maybe some of these other games just real quickly, anything else that just jumps off at you? I mean, I looked at all the big games. I didn't look at any of the other games, the games with the FCS opponents. I kind of like North Carolina against FAMU here, laying the big number. I just think that Carolina is that type of program that would run it up on them. I also like Hawaii against Vandy a lot. I think they have a chance for the outright.
That wouldn't surprise me. I think Vanderbilt's 1-12 in their last 13 road games. So I get it. Timmy Chang going through a complete rebuild at his alma mater. That's the only reason I can see Vanderbilt being favored here. But I am looking actually at an FCS team to cover, and I think I like Duquesne against Florida State. I know Florida State, bringing back a ton of talent. They're bringing back Jordan Travis as their starting quarterback, but Duquesne, no slouch. They've got a lot of their returning talent coming back as well. Had a really good season in the NEC last year. And, thing about Duquesne is that they went in, I'm not likening Ohio to Florida State here, but they went in and beat Ohio last year. So they have had success against an FBS program. I know Florida State, you go to Doak Campbell, it's something completely different, but 38.5 was what I was seeing for Florida State at last glance. And that just, for me, feels like too much for, a Duquesne team that's fully capable of keeping this one within 3 scores. So probably take Duquesne in the points there.
Yeah, I just don't know enough about Duquesne at this point. I can go look at it, but to me, it's just a little bit much. But yeah. I think to me, the toughest game on the board is UTEP, North Texas. I just can't get a side here. 2 teams that can run the football well. 2 teams that return, a lot of players as well. I like Wyoming a ton against Illinois. I just think that Wyoming defense is going to just turn it into a muck fest. And, with Danny DeVito, I know that's not his real name, but at quarterback for Illinois, I don't think he helps. I think he's there's a reason why he's not at Syracuse, right? So, I think that I think Wyoming more than holds their own. Wyoming was a little disappointing last year, but I think the Cowpokes, show up in this one. They still have a good defense, and Illinois. The beauty of a Brett Bielema coach team is that even if Wyoming doesn't have the sack to beat them, Bielema's fully capable of beating himself on any given Saturday.
I'm not going to disagree with that, but I think I'm with you. UTEP was a tough game for me to try to dissect, but I'm also having trouble with that Nevada New Mexico State game. New Mexico State, now Jerry Kill takes over. He did lose his starting quarterback, so he's had to bring some guys in. But Nevada lost Carson Strong to the NFL, Romeo Doubs to the NFL as well. So they're starting their 1-2 punch quarterback wide receivers gone, and they brought in Shane Illingworth from Oklahoma State. But Illingworth completed his degree at Oklahoma State, so he missed spring practice with Nevada. I know he had time to sort of fill in the gaps, in the summer probably, and had time to get some reps in that way. But still, spring practice can be huge if you miss it. And I don't know. I think that might play a factor into this. I was leaning towards New Mexico State in the points, considering the line dropped from 12.5 when I first saw it, now down to 8.5. But still, New Mexico State we're talking about.
Jerry Kill's a fast builder.
Yeah.
He is a fast builder, but is he this fast? I think that's the issue here. I think, last year we saw him take over at Texas A&M, TCU, after Patterson was fired. And, after he had left, Minnesota for the health reasons and everything, I was kind of surprised that he resurfaced because he had a lot of success at Minnesota. I mean, they beat Michigan. They won the jug. They did all those things. They won the axe, I mean, he won all those games, the big ones for the Gophers, games that you don't see them win too often. And, here he is at New Mexico State. So we know they're going to be better, We know they're going to be a better team than what we've seen from them in the past, And that's really not too much of a reach. I mean, anyway. But how fast can he do it? It'll be interesting to see. He's got a few tests here early. He goes to Minnesota next week as well, where he had all that success. It wasn't like he left Minnesota with animosity or anything. It was health related, right?
Yeah.
Anyways, now they got the Flexter. Oof. Don't even go there yet. It's too early in the season for me to get flecked. They're not even playing this week. But anyways, there's a quick look at week 0. Chris and I both did some videos, and you'll have those out at Pick Dogs today and a chance to look at those. We go to NFL action tonight. And last night's NFL, man, I kicked myself for not putting those Texans in as a premium pick. I don't know what I was thinking. I gave it out as in the free picks. It was about as easy as it gets for preseason. But, what we're going to see is a lot of teams going through the motions here. And we've got the Saints taking on the Chargers. What do you think of this one, Chris?
Yeah, under. That's all I can say. We're not going to see Justin Herbert here. And if we do, it'll be a series at best. And I just don't think we're going to see Chase Daniel and Easton Stick really, do anything of significance here against a solid
Chase
Saints
Daniel
defense.
sucks. I mean, he sucks. Yeah. He sucks.
I mean, they did have a little bit of success early in the preseason, but yeah.
No, he's never had success. He's never had success.
But I'm saying just in a couple games in the preseason, he hasn't looked terrible, but I do agree
terrible.
He sucks.
He's terrible.
I do agree he sucks.
What's his record as an actual NFL quarterback in games that count? What's his record?
Let me look. Hold on.
I mean, he stinks, man. He's terrible. Yeah, just terrible.
2-3.
Really? He started 5 games in what, 11 years? 14 years?
Yeah, 2-3.
2-3. Oh, those Missouri days. Anyways,
But yeah, I think this is just about, it's a game where everybody's going to muck around and Ian Book on the other side. Oh boy.
Oh
Yeah.
God, God. I
Yeah,
mean,
give me the under here.
the issue here is like maybe they get Book out of the game though, and the thing is that Chargers defense, the backups have been so bad. You know, they've been absolutely stinkopotamus. I mean, they're just terrible. I mean, the Chargers have no depth. You know, they've spent a lot of money up top, but as far as the depth, absolutely terrible. That's what we have seen from them. That special teams play against the Cowboys last week. Oh my, you know, because that's where guys are fighting to make the team, and that's where people figure to make it. We've got Buffalo taking on the Panthers. Baker Mayfield now named the starter for the Carolina Panthers this season. So they've got backups that have a ton of experience as far as at the quarterback position. The Buffalo Bills, a lot of people's pick to win the Super Bowl this year. Last year coming up short. That game in Kansas City once again. You know, it's like, you know, where does it end for the Buffalo Bills?
Yeah, I'm not sure, but this game I do like to value the Bills with the points. I know, again, no Josh Allen. If we do see him, it'll be for a series. And the thing about the Carolina Panthers is that I wouldn't be surprised if Sam Darnold sat out this game as well, leaving it a lot of the action to PJ Walker. And the Buffalo Bills, when we talk about Case Keenum and Matt Barkley as your backup quarterbacks, this is still a Buffalo offense that's put up 69 points in their two preseason games, and the majority of that was done without Josh Allen. And I think they can get to the Panthers here. I think we're getting too many points with the Buffalo Bills. I'll take the Bills plus 6.5.
I don't know, man. You say Case Keenum and Matt Barkley in the same sentence. I think to myself, man, it's like I know I've been sober for a long time, but it's tough to hold it together, when you're looking at something like that. So I don't know. I'm going to go with the Panthers here in this one. I think the Bills lay down in this one. We got the Dallas Cowboys getting a touchdown here at home against Clappy and the Seahawks. And Clappy is a Clappy, rah guy. A lot of Seahawks traditionally the most undrafted players on their roster. When you look at the first round draft choices of the Seahawks, generally most of those guys not really the contributors. The big names on the Seahawks are guys that were drafted a little bit later. Guys like Metcalf and or guys that weren't drafted at all. Meanwhile, Jerry Jones, he just always seems to like to win. A lot of pressure there to win everything.
Yeah, and I think this game I'm looking at the over 37.5. And I think I actually think it's one of the games where you might actually see a little bit more top string action. I don't think the quarterback battle is sorted in Seattle. I think you might see a little bit more Drew Lock and Geno Smith here than you're used to maybe seeing in week 3 of the preseason. But realistically, I think they are going to want to perform well. Whether or not they actually do is another story. But I was also impressed with what the Dallas Cowboys did with their backups. I never thought I'd say that with an offense featuring Cooper Rush and Ben DiNucci. But, they put up 32 points last week. Needed some special teams help to get there. But I think at 37.5, I think I would lean towards the over rather than try to pick a side in that one.
Cooper Rush is the king of the preseason. I love the Cowboys in this one, money line. We go to our, I just think that, Jerry Jones he loves to win games. He doesn't really care when or where or anything like that. And Clappy, he's got it. Maybe they win the Seahawks, but this is one of those games that comes down to the 2-point conversion at the last play of the game, type game. Either the Cowboys make it or the Seahawks make it or whatever. They don't make it, but it's one of those games. There's not a touchdown game. Speaking of games, we've got the Raiders taking on the Patriots. If this was a regular season game, we care. It's not. We don't care. The Patriots not looking, spectacular in these games so far, even though they are 1-1. And the Raiders, playing their 4th preseason game, have won every single one of them.
Yeah, this was probably my toughest one of the 4, and that's saying something about how much I really don't like the Cowboys and Seahawks game. probably still lean towards the Raiders. I think they've got just a lot of depth, and I still, I like Bailey Zapp, and I like him in this New England offense, but the Raiders have looked really good so far in the preseason. I think they just put the cherry on top, try to finish strong, and bring in some good vibes heading into the regular season. I think the Patriots are sort of just focused on week one. I know Bill Belichick, is going to coach this team up, but I just think the Raiders end up getting the win here. So I'll take the Raiders on the money line.
Yeah, I'm going to take the Raiders as well. I don't like the way the Patriots look in general. I think this is an ego thing, for Belichick at this point. And I think this is going to be a tough year for the Patriots. I think they'll be competitive in games because they have Belichick and, he can outcoach just about anybody. But I think overall it's going to be a tough year. And I think we're going to see it here. We've seen it throughout the preseason. They kind of got lucky, with the win in New England. I don't know. I'm not loving it, that's for sure. But, yeah, I'm going Raiders all the way. We move over to Major League Baseball, where how'd you do yesterday? Did you win?
2 in 1 day yesterday.
Nice.
Yeah.
I think I swept the board in my 3 picks, and did not get that Reds win that we talked about on the show, though. I really wanted that one, but I have to say that I bet the Cardinals-Cubs game. I was like chatting with Romanelli and the thing, and he was like saying something about the Cubs or whatever. I said, I'm betting my entire bankroll on this game, the entire thing. So I didn't bet the entire bankroll, but I bet 3,200. I put 2,000 on the Cubs straight up. They were on the Cardinals straight up. They were plus 102 at that point. And I also put 1,200 on the run line at plus 147. So I bet 3,200. I got back $7,000. It was like I was showing Romanelli the tickets, and I told him before the game. He was like, "Yes, he had a quality start last time out." I'm like, I don't understand how you can lose a game and have a quality, because he gets all wrapped up in the statistics, sometimes a little too much. I'm like, how is a loss a quality start? It's like you lost the game. How is there quality there? And then And then yesterday he's like, oh, well, the wind is blowing out. He's like, Arenado's not playing. I'm like, yeah, so Goldschmidt will hit 4 home runs today. And I was wrong. He was right. Goldschmidt didn't hit 4 home runs. He hit 2, but they weren't bombs, It was like, he didn't need to hit 4. He also had a walk in there, but he also hit into a weird double play where he struck out. The runner from third was in like a dead sprint home, and it was like he got caught with his pants down. Expect Goldschmidt to strike out in that spot, but yeah, it was a big win for me yesterday on that one. My $15 big play was the Astros on the run line. We got plus money, plus 115 or something on that. So take it. What was your $15 big play yesterday?
The Blue Jays. And
what's yours called? Yours is called the
pickoff play.
Pickoff play. What are you going to call it for football?
Pickoff. No, I'm kidding. I'll figure something out. But no, I thought I was in trouble a little bit when it was bases loaded, bottom of the 9th, nobody out. Then Romano strikes out. I don't remember who he struck out. I think it was. I'm not even gonna try to guess. But then bases loaded. Matt Chapman steps on third, throws to first for the double play, and I just breathed a huge sigh of relief because I'm like, oh, the Boston Red Sox. Oh boy.
Now that game lasted 16 hours.
Yeah,
it was like so I was I chat with Romanelli like a lot during the games and stuff, and he had the Yankees ace, and it was like, so I had the Astros game, you had that game, and he had the Yankees, and it was like these games, all 3 of them took about 100 hours each. It was like, how does a game take this long? It was like they were painfully long. No rain delays, no nothing. Anyways, we got the Marlins.
Around 11, I think.
Oh my gosh. We've got the Marlins taking on the Dodgers today, and this is an interesting series. The Dodgers pretty much wrapping up everything at this point, and the Marlins, as odd as it looks, they're really not horrible. Like in the grand scheme of things, they're kind of in the middle of the pack in the National League. They appear to be worse, but it's pretty much they are the middle of the pack team. What do you think of this one with Tyler Anderson? Is it Tyler Anderson?
Yeah.
He's having a career year. I mean, really is. And I keep waiting for him to fall flat on his face, and he keeps defying me.
Yeah, this is one of those cases. I want to see who. I haven't seen a confirmed starter for the Marlins yet. Um, but I think I'm still leaning towards the over in this one. Tyler Anderson, his sharpest play as of late has come at home. On the road, his last two road starts, he's allowed 8 earned runs over 11 innings of work. Uh, it's given it up on 13 hits. He had 4 walks against the Giants a couple starts ago. Kind of found his form a little bit against the Royals, but still gave up 3 runs in 6 innings in that start. So I think the Marlins could get to him a little bit here. I think the Dodgers just keep the offense rolling against the Marlins and do enough to get us over the number whenever it's posted.
Yeah, I kind of am leaning toward the Dodgers here. Not a game that I really love. I don't see one way or the other where to go here. All I see is maybe all I see here is maybe hold off until tomorrow when Sandy pitches against Dustin May. I think we'll still get a good price on Sandy against the Dodgers, and I kind of like them better in that spot. The Marlins, it's like I'm not gonna bet the Dodgers this kind of money. I know that much. So a lot of my feelings here have to do with the line. And that's the beauty of the new format of this show is we can talk about that and say, it's not that I don't think the Dodgers are going to win, but it's like, I can't bet these kind of odds because my bankroll just doesn't allow me to do it. It's like, I mean, it's almost like shock therapy. It's like, it's like, what are you thinking? It's like, I don't know. I have no idea, but, go to our next game here, and we got the Nationals taking on the Reds. Mike Minor's serving here for Cincinnati, and he has been absolutely hideous. How do you know when your team just is looking for live bodies to fill a spot? When you sign Mike Minor midseason to fill in, to take a couple starts for you, because he hasn't contributed anything positive at any point this season, Chris. I mean, zero. He's brought zero to the table. He's so bad. The Nationals are minus 146. That's how bad he is.
Also, minus 146, starting a pitcher making his major league debut here in Cade Cavalli. So, yeah, I would lean towards the Nationals for the side, but probably go with the over here. I looked at Cavalli's minor league numbers. He was a disaster in AAA last season, a 7.30 ERA. But this season across 20 starts, still got a 3.71 ERA in AAA at 6-4 record. But I think, like you said, this is more about what Mike Minor brings to the table, and it's usually a lot of runs. I mean, in 4 starts in August, he's allowed a combined, let me do some quick math, 16 runs here in 21 of the third innings of work. So close to a 7 ERA and a 6.23 ERA across his last 7 starts, and that could be worse had he not given up just 1 earned run out of his 5 against the Yankees. So I think
the thing I really like about this too is that when you look at the betting action on this game, and it's showing 57% of the bets and 89% of the money on the Cincinnati Reds, I think that the thing with the with these money percentages and things, I think with the legalization of sports betting, with these numbers not coming from the legal U.S. states, with these numbers primarily coming from overseas and from the Caribbean, with less action being there, as you get inverted numbers. And here you have what looks to be just a very public dog. That is not good. That dog has, I think yesterday, we saw it when the Cubs line inverted when Aaron, from them being dogs to favorites, with all that late money coming in on them. It was like, you'd think, that dog has messed the carpet for the last time, It's like that, it's pretty much. Thing was, I saw all that public money pouring in, all that public steam on the Cubs. I swear, I said to Roman, I'm like, I'm going to bet everything on it. And I held myself at 3,200. And it's like, I think I see the same thing happening right here. I mean, this is just terrible. Terrible. Mike Minor's straight ass. And I mean that in the nicest possible way. No, I don't. Who am I kidding? We got the Phillies against the Pirates. The Phillies are winning these winnable games and actually putting a little bit of separation between them and the Chasers here, as they have the number 2 spot for the wild card in the National League. Of course, they will win 0 postseason games. I mean, 0. But at least they're not falling flat on their face. Bryce Harper returns to the fold here for the Phillies as well, coming off the injured list. And, is he just another guy that, I don't know, because he hasn't really ever provided the chemistry that's put a team over the top to become a winner. So it'll be interesting to see if maybe he could do that here in Philly. But they've caught a soft stretch of the schedule here. They played the Reds and the Pirates back to back, all at home. And so far they've taken advantage of it against the Reds and at big prices. If you want to lay minus 295 here with Bailey Faulkner, is that on your plate of goodies for today?
Now, you want to lay minus 295 with Bailey Falter, be my guest. I'm actually going to take a shot with the Pirates in this one. I don't love Bryce Wilson, but he's actually, over his last 7 starts, he's pitched better than Bailey Falter has. And he's been in the lineup a lot more consistently than Falter has. And this is just for me, just not wanting to lay minus 295 or even chase a run line with the Phillies. I know they're the better team, and it wouldn't shock me if the Phillies won this game. But Bryce Wilson's pulled out wins in other surprising spots this season. This could be one I would lean towards the Pirates, but not a game I'm rushing to the window to bet.
Harper's like one of those guys that gets frustrated when he strikes out or like when he hits a bad pop flyer into a double play. So he gets frustrated a lot, during these games when we're watching him. And, who's more frustrated, him or the people that actually believe in him? What if you're like, it's like, Bittler would always say in the show, oh, the guy was an MVP. The guy's an MVP. How could you be an MVP of a team that doesn't win? Up until a couple of years, you never had guys that were, on teams that didn't win, that were the MVP. The most valuable player of what? What are you valuable towards? A sub 500 record? It's like, I don't understand it. To valuable means helped your team win, right? Not statistics, not any of those things. You did those things that made you the best. I don't see it, and until he does something more, until he wins a ring, I'm going to continue to treat him as such, and I'll take the Pirates with you on spite alone. I don't see myself. So what happened to me last night is I ended up betting, because I had won all that money on the Cardinals. I ended up putting 200 on the Reds money line and 200 on the run line. So I lost 400 on that. So I had 400 on the Astros run line on the other side. So I ended up slightly ahead, but it was a lot of work for a little bit of money. That's really what it ended up being. I think I won $30. Get myself a dozen bagels in today's day and age.
Do not bring down the name of the bagel and diminish the value of a dozen bagels. I will not stand for it.
Speaking of value and bagels, what are you selling today?
Nice segue. I'll give you that. For me, I got my $15 pickoff play today, and really I'm selling for baseball. I also got a couple of NFL preseason plays up for long-term subscribers as well. So hop on something long-term. Use that promo code OG15. Because now you're going to get some college football tomorrow. I already have my plays lined up for that. Potentially some NFL preseason, and you'll get some baseball there as well. So I'll hop on something long term and use that promo code OG15.
Yeah, I have my $15 big play. I have a bunch of other plays. I probably put them up as a 3-pack. I think I have 4 extra plays. So if you have my long-term packages, I think my 3-day is like $10 more than what I charge for a 3-pack, so you'll get everything, including my $15 big plays in that. And then my weekly is like less than $100 I've been charging. So I'm going to have college football tomorrow and stuff. So I encourage you, if you're going to buy my picks, to get the longer term. We've hit 3 in a row on our $15 big play. That thing's hitting at about, Bittler went through all my picks, and because I kept saying that they hit it over 70%, because he knew like I wasn't hitting a lot of games, but I kept winning my $15 big play. But yeah, I have my $15 big play, but I like a lot of the games today as well. So I think it's an interesting card. And it's not one that I feel like I'm jumping in with both feet. We'll wait till tomorrow's college football for that. But we go to Toronto, where the Blue Jays return home, 7-3 in their last 10, 36-25 at home against the LA Angels, 26-37 on the road, 1-9 in their last 10, and Reed Detmers on the ball here. I don't know, man. This Angels team, I watched that game against the Rays, and I'll just say this, man. They're absolutely hideous. What do you think, Chris?
Yeah, I've checked out of the Angels this season. For me, it's an auto fade. I think you're going to make more money than you're going to lose just by fading the Angels the rest of the way. And Reed Detmers, you can't forget this, at one point was a guy that, the Angels lost like 10 straight of his starts despite how well he pitched. So I think this is just one of those spots where the Blue Jays, they have the momentum after sweeping the Red Sox, and take advantage of the Angels and just this down Angels team that's now what? Is it 21 games under 500? So, yeah, give me the Blue Jays here, big.
The early line for tomorrow has Shohei Ohtani as a significant dog against Alek Manoah. I think that might be the opportunity to jump back on the Ohtani bandwagon, and as I continue my fate of Alek Manoah. But I don't know. The Angels just make me sick. I just don't understand how you spend that much money on a team and be that bad. I mean, how is it even possible to spend that much money and be this bad? Let's just take a look at this real quick. I gotta look at it. So the Angels have $190 million payroll, and so Mike Trout, $37,116,666 is a lot of money. Shohei only makes $5.5 million, and when you look at the injured list, it's Anthony Rendon at $36,571,428 a year. 36. He's got a $36 million base, so only $571,420 is in the signing bonus. He's 20% of the team's salary sitting there on the injured list. It's part of the problem here. So Noah Syndergaard is a retained salary at $13,615,000, and they're still paying Justin Upton $27,473,077. So when Raziel Iglesias as well. Justin Upton, by the way, is 34 years old. He's he's not playing baseball, but they're paying him $27,473,000, and he counts as $20,673,077 against the luxury tax. I mean, what's going on there? What the hell's going on? I mean, explain this to me. $27 million. He's 15% of their payroll. He's not even on the varsity. I don't know. Meanwhile, Tuki Toussaint pulling down $257,000. the Tukester. I don't know. Don't tell me, this is the problem. This is the issue. Yuck. Aaron Loop makes $7.5 million.
Oh God.
Yeah.
This year?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah. Aaron Loop, $7.5 million. Ryan Tepera makes $7 million.
Oh God.
Shohei makes 5.5. Kurt Suzuki makes 1.75. 38 years old, and of course, not Berea makes $730,000 a year. What a mess! What a mess this team is.
Shohei Ohtani making 5.5.
Yep, that's why they wanted to trade him. He's going to be due for a contract.
Yeah, okay.
The market on Ohtani is $50 million.
Yeah, I guess that makes sense. I was thinking, I was like, wait a minute, the number doesn't sound right. But then, like you said, we've never heard a contract extension for him, so that's
he's pre-arbitration.
Yeah,
but the number is 50. On an Ohtani.
Oh yeah.
because you're thinking Max Scherzer makes 40, right, pitching, and then Trout's making 37 hitting, so that would put him at $75 million a year. 50 would be a bargain.
Yeah.
Yeah, the future looks bright for the Angels. We got Michael Wacha up against JT Chargois for the Tampa Bay Rays. Pardon my French. Chris, the Red Sox have been playing in some long games, and that bullpen's been taxed, as they say. The Rays come in 6 in a row, 8-2 in their last 10. The Kings of after the All-Star break play. The Rays and the Guardians after the All-Star break. You don't want them anywhere even near your neighborhood. It's like they are just home wreckers. What do you think here in this one?
Yeah, I'm looking for this to be a low-scoring game. I don't expect a whole lot from the Boston Red Sox, but if there's one spot where they may be able to sort of get up and get a win, I'm not saying they will. I do like the Tampa Bay Rays here. It would probably be with Michael Wacha, considering how well he's pitched at Fenway this year, a 1.14 ERA. So I think it's going to be a low-scoring game that the Rays eventually win. I initially said Boston in my video, but after doing some digging and some soul searching, I think I'm still with you on the Rays here. But I do think the under is the stronger play in this game.
Doing some sit down, spend some time sitting and thinking. You don't want to do that here, Clark. This is one of my favorite lines. It's like, I just need a place to sit and think. You don't want to do that here, Clark. Anyways, I just think the Rays are just way too much. I think the Red Sox just look extended. It's like I think they've been extended all season long, with what they've had to work with, and I think they just look extended at this point, just fully extended. I just don't see them doing anything. This Mets Rockies, it's 3-1. We gave out Pete Alonso as my home run prop. I believe I said it on the show, on this show, right? Yesterday. He did homer. It was the difference in the game. But a lot of people were on the Mets like -2.5 or even more in that game. And once again, DeGrom got no support whatsoever. Here they come back with Chris Bassett and Chad Kuhl after a couple days off. What do you think of this one? The Metropolitans, 5-5 in their last 10. After that series with the Yankees, the Braves are still breathing down their neck.
Yeah, I think that this is where the Mets would need to. This is a series where the Mets would need to take advantage of it. The Rockies right now just struggling, and Chad Kuhl, he is coming back from a bit of a break from the Rockies rotation. But in the 6 starts before he pulled out of the lineup, basically the beginning of July, he's got an 11.06 ERA, and look at those advanced metrics, a FIP around 9, suggesting he's pretty much pitching as bad as his numbers would suggest. And Chris Bassett, pitcher I haven't loved, but he's been pitching really well at home. His last couple starts, he hasn't allowed an earned run. I think if there was a game where you were going to take the Mets -2.5, probably be this one to try to get the bet down into even money, but a game I'm still struggling to get to.
So the Angels are for sale, according to Marlo.
Yeah, they are.
Let's set up a GoFundMe. What do you think? Let's buy it.
Pick Dog Stadium?
Yes.
I mean,
we won't be able to make the Hall of Fame because of gambling ties, but I think that, it's like you can't make the Hall of Fame because of gambling ties. Yeah, you can have blared on the scoreboard for 9 full innings, the official sports book of the, Los Angeles Angels, right? It's like, it's different players play by different rules. It's my favorite Bobby Bowden, saying. It was like when Sebastian Janikowski broke curfew. Curfew was 10 o'clock. He showed up back at the hotel at 2:30 in the morning. It was and he let him play in the national championship game. It's like, does that mean that he plays by a different set of rules than everybody else? He said, I guess it does. I guess it does. Yep. Anyways, got the I like the way Bassett's pitched this year. I just think, the Mets are, while we keep looking for them to fall down, they haven't. The Mets have looked really strong this season. I think it's Mets, Braves, Cardinals, Dodgers, right? I mean, I don't think any of these other teams have a chance. Those are the best four in the National League, and any of those four have a chance to win the World Series if they get there. Texas Rangers take on the Tigers. The Tigers still now have 20 wins on the road now. So still less than 33% winning percentage on the road this season. But they did get to that magical 20 mark. And meanwhile, the Rangers at home just 27-34. 10 games under 500 on the season. So obviously they have a better road record than they have a home record. And I think this is a season of what could have been, for the Texas Rangers. I felt that a month before the trade deadline, they were right in it. And I just felt if they would have made a move then for a couple starting pitchers or a starting pitcher or just some moves, that they could have shaken it up. They chose to stand pat. They didn't listen to me. And look at you now.
And you did this to yourself.
It's like Mitch on the Pick Dog show. I know the show's kind of tailed off a little bit, lately. Don't worry, they're going to reformat. It's like he said that we should make a move. It's like, yeah, did not listen. But what do you think here? I think for me, it's like I can't take the Tigers on the road. I just can't do it. I think the Rangers' run line, is reasonable.
Yeah, it's definitely in play. But I think I'm looking at the under 8 here. I think this is going to be one of those games where the offense is so bad that it makes the starting pitching look a lot better, especially on the Detroit Tigers side. Glenn Otto's been capable, and I think that he actually could have a solid outing here against the Tigers, who still struggle to hit right-handed pitching, especially on the road. And Tyler Alexander's actually been picking up his play as of late as well. In his last 5 starts since rejoining the rotation, he's allowed 3 earned runs or less. He hasn't really been getting blown up. So I lean towards the under here, but I do think that you're right. I think there is some value with the Rangers on the run line, maybe a 4-2 kind of game.
Yeah, I just like the Rangers in this one. We go to the next one, Chicago White Sox against the Diamondbacks. I'm a White Sox fan. I hate them. I hate their guts this year for what they did to me. Built my hopes up and crushed my dreams. Never really were in it, Underachieved all season. Tony La Russa, we'll make a decision after the season. And let me tell you what the decision is. I'll tell you what it is. You're fired. It's like I always like it. It's like, well, we're gonna decide after the season what there's no decision to be made here. You're fired. You stink. You've been you're part of the problem. And I don't know. I think they can beat the Diamondbacks. Johnny Cueto, of course, is a first ballot Hall of Famer. But I'm disgusted with the White Sox, and but they are 6-0 as home favorites on the run line. So I'll take them here on the run line.
Yeah, this is another under for me in this one, and I do lean towards the White Sox run line. Johnny Cueto, one earned run allowed in his last 2 starts over 16 2/3 innings. Won both of those games convincingly in a 2.13 ERA across his last 7 starts. We started to see the praise that you were giving Tommy Henry going into his last start, and he kind of showed up a little bit. 5 1/3 innings against the St. Louis Cardinals, allowed just 1 run, 7 strikeouts. So the stuff is there for Henry, and the White Sox historically have tailed off a bit at home, but I do think the White Sox do enough to get the win on the run line. I think my stronger play here though is the under 8.
Yeah, I like the under too, but I like the White Sox. I think they get it done. I've been suckered on them all season, so why not one more time? Got the Royals taking on the Padres. Chris, son of a Bubich, on the mound up against your boy, Joe Musgrove. And I don't know if you want to lay minus 188 on the San Diego Padres on the road. Be my guest, but I'm not joining you on that endeavor. You'll be on that road solo. I'll be on the 3-7 in their last 10, 51-75, 31-35 at home. Kansas City Royals here behind Chris, son of a Bubich.
Yeah, I might join you on that. I might take it with the plus 1.5. I might chicken out a little bit here, but look at the Padres and their offensive output. You know, they were going into last night's game. They had scored 3 runs or less in 6 straight and 8 of 9. There's just nothing to really write home about this Padres team. I think the Royals, Chris Bubich on the mound, they haven't been, great offensively either, but I think they can keep this, a 1-run game, if not win it outright with Bubich. So give me Kansas City plus 1.5.
If you can lose back-to-back home games against the Washington Nationals, you sure as hell can lose in Kansas City. That's for sure. We've got the Twins taking on the Giants. This is an interesting one. Joe Ryan's kind of tailed off towards the end of the year here too, kind of Alek Manoah-ish, but without the 48-inch waist. And Alex Wood has pitched well this season. He's been really solid for the Giants. I like the Giants in this one, getting plus money here in Minnesota against the Twins team where the wheels are kind of off the cart. The Twins have been winning at home, terrible on the road, coming off that series in Minnesota where they just never were in any of those games. They were winning 1-0 last night. It was 4-1 by the end of the first. I mean, it's not pretty what happened here, the collapse. They had a lot of chances. Now they're lucky to finish over 500. Chris, what do you think of this one? I'm on the Giants taking the plus money.
Yeah, I think so. I think I am as well. Joe Ryan had a couple of bad starts, still has a 5.30 ERA across his last 7. And Alex Wood hasn't been much better, and he's coming off a start where he allowed 7 runs in less than 5 innings against the Rockies, but he's still been solid on the road pretty much for the majority of the season. And like you said, the Twins are just unbackable right now. So, yeah, I'd go with you with the value here with the San Francisco Giants.
Anyways, the Bills are underdogs versus the Panthers because the Panthers have 3 quarterbacks that with starting experience, and the Bills have Matt Barkley and Case Keenum. I mean, that's pretty much why the Panthers would be favored. I mean, you want to bet on Case Keenum? Go ahead. With my money, it's an insult. Anyways, Case Keenum sucks. He's terrible, and Matt Barkley is worse. Anyway, speaking of Matt Barkley, we got the Brewers taking on the Cubs. Speaking of suck, Cubs sucking it up yesterday against the Cardinals. That was a 5-game series. The Cardinals won 3-2, but I tweeted this out. Corey Dickerson started that series batting .232 for the season. In 3 games, he didn't play the game 1 of the first doubleheader. So in the final 3 games of the series, he raised his season batting average. His batting average for the season. He's a regular player, right? He's not a guy that just bats a couple times. He's a regular player. He raised his batting average from .232 to .278 in 3 games. 4 hits, 3 hits. He is absolutely on fire. And the Cubs, just terrible. Their bullpen just is there's nothing left in the tank there. I like the Brewers here big on the run line. I think I like the over and the Brewers run line. It's same game parlay action on this one. And this is in addition to the parlay that we'll do later on the show. But I like the same game parlay here. Brewers, Cubs. Brewers run line and over. Cubs are just they look just spent. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, I think I might go with the Yurfie in this one. I think this is just one of those games where the runs start flying on the board early, and I think it is going to be a bit of a higher scoring game. But I think we start right off the bat, first inning. Wouldn't be surprised if both teams got a run here, but lean towards the Yurfie in this one.
I'd be surprised if the Cubs are competitive at all in this game. They're terrible. Straight ass. Astros, Orioles, got 2 teams with similar colors here. This is one of those ones that if you're watching it on the split screen, with all the different screens, it can be tough to tell who's up and who's not. Got a lot of orange going on in dark colors. The Astros coming off of just a beatdown series of the Minnesota Twins, and the Orioles, kind of a dogfight there with the White Sox. Every game was tough, right? Every game came right down to it. But the Orioles, I don't know. A couple weeks ago, I thought they were going to make it. Now I'm kind of thinking they're not going to make it. But I do like them here. They've done really well in this spot, this road dog, first game of the series, all that kind of good stuff. I'm going to go with the Orioles in this one. Chris, what do you think?
Yeah, this is one of the tougher games on the board for me because I do like the value the Orioles have been giving us. I also do like the Houston Astros, but I think I'm going to go with the under 8 here. Kyle Bradish has been pitching a lot better than his season-long ERA would indicate. And Lance McCullers Jr., he did get roughed up a little bit in his last start, but still 3 runs allowed over 5 innings. I think this is just going to be a low-scoring battle. And if the Orioles want to win this game, they got to do it with basically how they've been doing it over the course of this winning couple months they've been on, is with their defense. And I think it's just a low-scoring game, first to 3 wins. So give me the under 8 Astros Orioles.
We'll move on to our next game, and this is the feature game of the weekend, feature series. Cardinals are hosting the Braves, and both these teams are hot lately, 8-2 in their last 10. Of course, the Braves not leading their division, but they're number 1 in the wild card race, and they're in the playoffs. And the Cardinals kind of doing some damage there in the National League Central. 72-53 on the season, 40-21 at home this season. They go with Jose Quintana here, and he's a home dog here against Spencer Strider. Now, the thing is, they have to remember with the Cardinals yesterday in that beatdown of the Cubs, Nolan Arenado did not play, and neither did Yadi Molina in that game. So the Cardinals, Arenado is with his wife who is having a baby, so I'm not sure what his status is for this, but it's definitely something to keep an eye on in this one. Spencer Strider has been sensational this season. But this is a tall order going into St. Louis in this type of game and knocking off the Cardinals as a minus 150 favorite. What do you think here?
Yeah, I thought it was going to be closer to a coin flip, to be honest. And maybe that does provide some value towards the St. Louis Cardinals. But I think, again, my stronger play here probably going to be the under. I'm expecting this to be a playoff type atmosphere for almost the whole series. Spencer Strider, 4 of his last 5 starts and 5 of his last 7, he's allowed 1 run. And the majority of those, he's getting into the 6th inning. So he's putting the Braves in a good spot to win his starts. Whether or not he actually does, that's another story. But Jose Quintana hasn't allowed more than 2 earned runs in a start since joining the Cardinals. I think this one's a pitcher's duel. I think, like I said, playoff type atmosphere. I like the under 8 in this one.
Yeah, this is a tough one. One of the tough ones. This is a coin toss type game. I've gone both. I've been on both sides of the coin on this game, to be honest with you. Looking at it. So I just, like I said, just really, really struggling with it. So I don't know. I guess the Cardinals at home. It's a lean at best. Definitely not one I'm betting. I like tomorrow's game in this series with Morton facing Jordan Montgomery. I think that's going to be a hell of a game tomorrow. But we go to the next game on the board, and it is the Yankees and the A's. Just absolute ugliness last night in this game, in this series. Chris, any thoughts? I mean, I hate betting on Cole. I hate these odds, but the A's are terrible at home, and the Yankees love to beat up on the weak sisters. What do you think?
No, they definitely do. But my hatred for Garrett Cole is going to carry over here. I would take a shot with the A's plus 1.5. I know they were destroyed last night. But the thing for me is that Garrett Cole, I still laugh, throwing a tantrum against the Toronto Blue Jays in the dugout last time out. And then when Aaron Judge got plunked the day after, he's running out, throwing his hands up all over the place. I'm just thinking that Garrett Cole's mad because the only thing he was hitting the day before were the Toronto Blue Jays bats. So, stop throwing a tantrum. And now he's got to go against an Oakland A's team that has J.P. Sears going. I think J.P. Sears is going to have a bit of a chip on his shoulder, facing his former team. The Yankees deemed him expendable, in that Frankie Montas deal. In his starts this year, in a starting role, 4-0 with a 1.04 ERA. I don't know. I think Sears going to do his best to keep the A's in this game. Maybe I go with the first 5 run line plus a half run, plus 1.5 with the A's. But take a shot with the full game with Oakland in this one with Sears on the mound.
What kind of chip is it on his shoulder?
Salty.
Because, I saw it, on Master Chef, where they have, the home chefs competing. Yeah. They had where you had to use gas station food to, to make the dish. And you had to use at least 3 different gas station foods. So one of the women used, and I don't know, tell me if I'm wrong here, Fritos, tortilla chips, and I forget what the other thing was. But aren't Fritos and tortilla chips basically the same thing?
Almost the same thing, different shape.
Yeah. It's like, that to me is using the same ingredient. And then they applauded her like she had done something great. So I say go outside the box.
Yeah, that for me that's easy. I could do that probably blindfolded. Potato chip crusted protein. Use a soda if they had it for like a reduce it, make it a sauce, and then just figure out a third item. I don't know.
I don't know.
I prepared for this.
What about dots? Would you use dots?
What, the gummies?
Yeah.
Yeah, maybe. We could consider
it. Gordon Ramsay. Chris has used the black chuckle to accent the dish.
What is this? You're an idiot.
The chuckle. Maybe you should have removed. Joe would be like, maybe you should have removed the sugar from the chuckle before placing the chuckle.
Watch, I make like the worst dish, and Gordon Ramsay's like, you're foolish and lack vision, right? And I see you standing up and screaming at the TV, "Hey, I said that first."
I actually think Aaron Sanchez is the best on there. The buttercream was so luscious. Got the Seattle Mariners taking on the Cleveland Guardians, and Logan Gilbert on the mound here up against Shane Bieber. I don't know. See, two good pitchers, two good teams. Guardians have been on the road here for a long time on the West Coast. What do you think?
Yeah, they have, but I'm expecting another low-scoring game. Maybe not 4 runs like we saw on Thursday, but I could see 5 or 6 in this game. And I think this one's just a low-scoring game, like you said. 2 of the better pitchers in their respective rotations. Shane Bieber, still, an ERA just over 3, and a barely above 500 record, but still for me the ace of this Guardians pitching staff. And Logan Gilbert has pitched, fairly well over the course of the season, and has been the most consistent arm the Mariners have had. So give me the under 7 Mariners Guardians.
I like the Guardians here. This one, I just think I think this series is going to be tight, and I think what you're going to have here are low scoring tight games, and I just like the way the Guardians have played in those, and I like the way the Mariners have too. I just think the Guardians a little bit better manager. I think that makes a difference here. Well, we've made it to the end of the show. We did it in just over an hour. We're about an hour and 3 minutes in at this point. Pretty good considering we covered a lot of ground here. So we're going to be able to do this format for the most part, I think, going forward, right? It's going to be choppy. I think what we'll do is we'll probably cut the baseball coverages down to like a minute apiece instead of 2 minutes. We could do a minute and a half, and some of these football games will go more into depth than others. But we covered week 0 college football today for 10 minutes at the beginning of the show. Unplanned, unscheduled, unrehearsed. Raw week 0. My favorite day of the week during my favorite time of the year. Anyways, you got a parlay for us, Chris?
Yeah, I'm going to go with the under between the Chargers and Saints. I'll go with the over between the Reds and the Nationals, and I'll go with the Toronto Blue Jays on the run line.
I'm going to go with the I don't know what to take here. I'll go with the Dallas Cowboys on the money line, the Raiders on the money line, and the Panthers on the money line, or the Panthers minus the points. That'll be my parlay. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Make it a winning day. We appreciate each and every one of you. You guys know we're bringing it bigger and better. If you guys have any comments, anything else you'd like to see on the show, let us know. But I don't know what else we could possibly add. If we add another person, we won't be able to do the show in this format. So if it's that, well, the answer is no. Anyways, any home run props? Anything like that? Anything else?
And you know what? Let's go with Francisco Lindor to hit one off of Chad. Cool.
All right. I'll go with man, the catalog for the Nationals against Mike Weiner is, for sure is always good. But man, I'll go with Robert against Henry in that White Sox Diamondbacks game. Thanks, everyone, for joining us. Make it a winning day. We'll see you guys tomorrow with our weekend format. I don't know who's coming, who's not coming. I don't know who's talking about what, but we will be here. Make it a winning day. We appreciate each and every one of you.